Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Palestinian update. I was just telling everybody that I do not want to talk about TYT right now, like every fucking buddy else is, I guess. Not talking about TYT. Man, my hair looks like shit right now. I just noticed that. It'll as it dries, because it's wet. As it dries, it'll get poofier and poofier. So enjoy. I'm like a chia. I'm like a chia pet. Chia. I'm gonna actually grow right in front of your eyes. No, it isn't, Chem Goblin. I have fucking noodle hair. I have macaroni hair. Oh, Chem Goblin hates that. All right, folks, let's get into something that's not so fun. Palestinian journalist hit in head by bullet during raid on terror suspect's home. So what's being pointed out here is just how the media covers Israel, right? When anytime they're talking about Israel, it's with sanitized language, right? Because what happened? A Palestinian journalist was shot, probably intentionally, by the IDF again. And how do they choose to word it? Palestinian journalist hit in head by bullet. Oh, he just fell on the ground and a bullet hit him. It had to have been an accident during raid on terror suspect's home, right? And okay. Who's the terror suspect? Of course, it's the Palestinian people defending their land from a slow creeping invasion. Oh, what about it's so funny. I saw this Israeli government sycophant running around. Oh, what about the Palestinian use of child soldiers? It's like, yeah, they don't have a fucking choice. They're one of the youngest populations on planet Earth. They don't have a choice. If anyone's going to save them, it's going to be the youth. Of course, that's, it's scary though, because young people are very susceptible to extremist views. Nazis are trending on fucking Twitter. Great. What? Fucking Elon Musk, man. Can he fucking stop fucking with this? I got to change up my whole social media workflow now. Yeah, fucking Scooby-Doo, dude. I mean, Twitter is turning into a shithole, dude. Like, America's scariest police chases, big fat asses, and anime bitches. That's my fucking front, all this shit's suggested to me. None of these people I'm following. Just a bunch of weird, random-ass right-wing blue checks. Ah, okay, so Nazis, there's trending because of the Moms for Liberty. These fascists. All right, let's go ahead and put this in. I do have a little bit of a fash update, so let's go ahead and put that in here. But yeah, moving on to our news clip here. I mean, you've all heard my opinions on Palestine. I have lots of criticisms to be made for the Palestinian Authority, for Hamas. Plenty of criticisms to go around for the Israeli government that's, perpetuating a full-blown apartheid on the Palestinian people. In the last video, I expressed, basically cynical nihilism, and I don't think that's really changed, because I don't think the world cares enough to stop this. I think Israel is very close to completing this project, this conquering of the Palestinian people. I'm not quite sure what the end game is. I'm not sure what you're going to do with all these human beings once you've crammed them. Are you going to give them anything? Are you just going to cram them all into the West Bank? Is that the Gaza Strip, or where are they all going to go? That's the question for me. You either go, I'm sure they want to avoid the genocide if they can. Even though all, Ben Gavir and all their, all the people in the street, oh, kill them all. They want to kill them all immediately. But yeah, I mean, that's going to put the United States in a really, really, really tough position. Anyway, let's jump into it. You all know my opinions on it. It's a quagmire that I think is going to end tragically with some of the worst actors, some of the worst people basically winning. I wish, and it's like, I'm a white guy living in a comfortable home in Canada. Okay, who am I to tell the Palestinian Authority or Hamas or the Palestinian people how to protest, how to act, how to react to this? You know, my opinion is that they need to change strategies. Enough of the rockets, enough of the, enough of the rockets, enough of the attacks. Just attacks of the kind. Enough of the language of eradication, right? The language of revenge. But that's really easy for me to say. I mean, have you seen what the Palestinian people are going through? Just a day-to-day business for a Palestinian person, right? The checkpoints, the harassment, the cops turning a blind eye to Israelis harassing you, just nakedly out in the street. Just an Israeli person can just fucking push you around, fuck with you, and cops don't do a single thing about it. You got to be really heinous for a cop to actually arrest you for fucking with the Palestinian people. You got to be like, full-blown psychopath murder. And then maybe you'll get a slap on the wrist. Thank you for the follow, famous 399. This is the actual show here, bud. We're talking about something, uncontroversial and very mass market friendly, like your big streamer friend, I'm sure. Israel, Palestine. Can you handle it? Can you handle it? Can you handle it? Does the big streamer that you're telling me about, do you think they talk about Israeli Palestine on their show? No? No, the advertisers don't really like that, do they?
Zero from the occupied West Bank. Israeli forces have shot and killed a Palestinian after he opened fire on an illegal Israeli settlement and killed a security guard.
I don't know why it's...
We can go straight to Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher in
only in
Ramallah.
left
Alan,
channel.
this is a rapidly developing story, and it broke in just the last few moments. What have you been able to gather so far?
Well, most of the information that we're getting in the last hour or so is coming from Israeli Army Radio. What we can tell you is that we believe that a Palestinian was driving near to the settlement of Kedemim when he got out of his car and opened fire. At this stage, we're told he killed a security guard and injured one other. That other person is in a serious condition. Now, a nearby army operation was alerted, and they moved to the scene and chased the Palestinian into a nearby field where, in the words of the Israeli army, he was neutralized, which essentially means he was killed. The Kedemim is a settlement probably about an hour's drive away from Jenin, where, of course, we saw so much activity over the last few days.
Good to know. Everything you see here is paid for by your U.S. tax dollars.
Smotrich, who is the Israeli finance minister. We're being told that the checkpoints that run between Nablus, which is nearby,
if you're an American, you are paying for this,
and Kedemim are closed down for the moment, which of course is going to bring a great deal of hardship for the hundreds who are currently on the road trying to get to various towns and villages nearby.
And just a big preemptive fuck you to all the people that, are the bad actors that are Israel's defending themselves. This is defense. This is defense. This is defense. It's not defense. You don't corner people and then get verklempt when the people you've cornered start lashing out in desperation. That's not how it works. Like I've mentioned before, this permanent state of victimhood that Israel puts itself in, the government of Israel, and a lot of the people agree with this, as we've seen with their democratic choices, that they are permanently the victim, always in a defensive stance, no matter what action they take. It's really quite toxic. It's an incredibly toxic mentality. Famous 399. My God, look at that icon. That is one chiseled son of a bitch. Is that you? Holy fuck, dude. I bet your cum gutters are deep, just like those sexy fucking manly eyes. Oh my God. It's going to fall into them.
Just to repeat what we have found out in the last hour, a Palestinian opened fire on an illegal Israeli settlement, killing one security guard, injuring one other person. They are said to be serious. The Israeli army responded by shooting the Palestinian. He is now dead.
Alan, put this in...
Or was he hit with a bullet? Did a bullet strike his head? Or was he shot to death? Now, look, I'm not... Once again, I criticize, I don't think violence is going to do this. I think it's going to need, I think the Palestinian people are going to need to go full Gandhi. And I totally acknowledge that I'm just some white fucking guy sitting here. I'm not being oppressed by the Israelis. I mean, I kind of am. I'm not being oppressed, but I'm being super fucking annoyed by Israeli sycophants making terrible bad actor arguments every fucking single day, every time I talk about this subject. So I'm not being oppressed per se, but I'm being annoyed, which is bad enough. But I don't think the strategy this is working. You know, whatever meager arms and resistance they can muster, I don't think it's working. You know, like I said, at this point, the Israeli government's strategy depends on the rockets. They depend on being attacked. That's why they prod. That's why they poke the bear. That's why they, you know, they shot the beloved Palestinian journalist. That's why they harassed her funeral. They amped it up. That's why they went, you know, on the holiest of holy days for them. The Israeli government stormed their mosque while they were praying and fucked everybody up and tear gas. And was that defense? No, we don't hear that talked about by the sycophants, do we? Exactly. About 20%. We're getting there. You know what I mean, though? They intentionally poke and prod, and what is the Palestinian Authority, you know, Hamas, all these extremists, what do? They gladly step right up and they play the fucking fool, right? And I'm not blaming individual young people who are picking up arms and, you know, and just who have had enough. But I'm talking about the whatever organization that exists in Palestine, right? They do exactly, basically right on cue, right when they're told, right when they're poked. Oh, we needed to get revenge. We needed to get revenge. Really? How well has that revenge worked out so far? And I get it, though. These people are hopeless. A little bit of revenge feels good in their dreary little world, right? Listen to me, right? White guy, privileged, right? I get it. But at the same time, I'm seeing, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of this strategy, and Israel's winning. Sorry. I mean, come on, lefties. What the fuck are we doing here? Israel is fucking winning. And our bleeding like stuck sheep isn't doing jack shit, is it? I feel like the strategy needs to change. Call me crazy.
Context for us, if you will. You were heading our coverage of the latest round of violence, which was the Israeli assault on the Palestinian refugee camp of Jenin.
Who's at the soundboard right now?
And the Israelis had stepped up their security precautions because they were fearful that there could be attacks in their area.
Keep looking at famous 399. So sexy.
In Tel Aviv just a couple of days ago, where there was a car ramming and a Palestinian there was shot dead. So they were aware that this was a possibility. But if you look at the figures over the course of the year, the number of dead Palestinians in the occupied West Bank and Gaza up to this year so far, 195. For the moment, with the death of the security guard,
doesn't matter, does it?
That means that 29 Israelis.
I love when you try to have a proportionality argument with an Israeli sycophant. It's literally impossible. They do not care. It's what about every time you try to bring that up. So yeah, for like every Israeli person that's killed or injured, you know, you guys are like murdering 10 Palestinians. Justify. What about? It's very tiring. You know, it is. And I've been doing it my whole goddamn life, and I'm exhausted with this, you know. This theater, right? Our government in the U.S. pretending that this is defense. I mean, come on. Are we that fucking stupid? How much more territory are they going to take while this kabuki theater is fucking played out in front of us? Honestly, this fucking lie that this is all defense. And then every time they take more settlements, what does Uncle Sam do? Oh boy, that's really mean. Okay, moving on. Here's another $1 billion check. Moving on. Come on. Are you fucking stupid? I don't think you're stupid. I'm not stupid, kind of. I'm not that stupid. Right? So come on.
Have been killed, but certainly it will alert settler communities across the West Bank.
They're spitting in our fucking face. The U.S. government, the Israeli government, and the media, the mainstream media.
Alan, just before I let you go to gather more information on all of this, I
don't think Al Jazeera is really that mainstream. I'm talking about MSNBC.
Meme, the settlement that was just targeted.
You want to see something funny? I showed this a while ago. Look up an interview with Joe Scarborough with one of the representatives of the Palestinian Authority, and it is the funniest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. Joe Scarborough, I mean, literally, you could have cooked an egg on his fucking on his little head there. It was amazing. He could not handle it. It was like literally, what about rockets? Every single response was, what about rockets? They transitioned over to Willie, and Willie immediately got into, what about rockets? Literally every single question.
It is the home of Bezalel Smotrich. You mentioned he's the finance minister. He's not just the finance minister, of course. He has extensive power over what happens in the occupied West Bank, namely settlement building. So I think that's an important part of this.
But it may just be a coincidence as well.
This man is an animatronic. Fuck
important
off.
Part of this.
No. Shut up. This man is either an advanced computer AI, some kind of thing, or he's a fucking straight up like Disney level animatronic. Okay, you pick one. He's not come on. Okay, no, shut up with this. This man isn't real. This man is a synthoid. I wish I could get my skin to look like that. Is that makeup? Is that what it does? Who are you? Who?
But it may just be a
maybe he's not.
As well.
He's very realistic.
It may just be, to use a phrase from another place and another time, it just may be the opportunity opened up. And it could well be that. But the fact that Smotrich is there is worth noting simply because he is one of what would be regarded as the extreme right-wing voices in the Israeli cabinet. And the fact that he is also a settler and at this settlement is certainly newsworthy just from that point of view.
All right, Alan Fisher reporting from Ramallah. Thank you very much. And your point as well, taking, of course, that may be coincidence that the settlement that was just attacked is the home of Bezalel Smotrich. May or may not be. Thank you very much, Alan, for your coverage. We'll let you go and gather more news.
You hurt my feelings, Chem Goblin. I'm hurt, dude. I'm hurting. Why would you do that to me? This was interesting. I wanted to show this. Quote, "Take me down, but the Palestinian people will continue to fight." During the vote on a special bill to combat terrorism, Arab-Israeli politician Ayman Odeh was kicked off the podium after his support for Palestinians in Jenin sparked outrage in the Knesset. So as we learned from Panda Man last time, the Knesset is like their Congress. So it's interesting to hear that a support for defense of Palestine is even being heard in the halls of the Knesset. So that is very interesting. But as you can see, the government is not interested in this language. A big chunk of the Israeli government is totally dedicated to the eradication of the Palestinian people, and they have various ideas on what they want to do individually. I don't think they've all come to an agreement, coalesced on a final solution.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
I don't think they've coalesced around an idea of what they're actually going to do. But I mean, they're getting closer and closer and closer to this goal, folks. I mean, what are they going to do? Assault him? These are supposed to be the most professional of professional, the lawmakers, the leaders. Take away his immunity so we can hurt him. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the attitude. They're fucking bloodthirsty. What do you want? I mean, how outward, how direct do they need to be? You know what I mean? They tell us, look at the statements of these people shouting. These government officials. They all get in front of the camera and they proudly. It's like a contest. How much can we dehumanize the Palestinians in our statements? It really is. It's like it's a big race to the bottom for these guys, right? And Ben Gvir, one of the most extreme examples. right next, got enough power to put himself right next to the Bibi Netanyahu government, had to be there, had to do a coalition. And they want to get violent. They just want to kind of open up, the machine guns. They just want to roll through and really just, tear ass. They really do. Listen to their statements. I'm not being
cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
They're literally telling us. Look at Ben Gvir's statements. Anyway, it doesn't matter though, does it? What about rockets? What about rockets? Okay, child soldiers, rockets. Okay, yeah, all right, it's all justified. I don't know. No one fucking cares. Look at the view count. You know what I mean? Look at the chat. Look at the chat. Right? No one fucking cares. I wanted to close on this 50-second clip from George Carlin, just expressing how what I was saying at the beginning of the stream here, how the media uses certain kinds of language when talking about actions from certain countries. So I thought I'd show this as a closer.
Smug, greedy, well-fed white people have invented a language to conceal their sins. It's as simple as that. The CIA doesn't kill anybody anymore. They neutralize people. Or they depopulate the area. The government doesn't lie, it engages in disinformation. The Pentagon actually measures nuclear radiation in something they call sunshine units. Israeli murderers are called commandos. Arab commandos are called terrorists. Contra killers are called freedom fighters. Well, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight? They never mention that part of it to us, do they? Never mention that part
of it. Good old George Carlin. And we see it today. This thread is great. It's just filled with a bunch of George Carlin dunking on right-wingers. It's great. Let's go ahead and just for fun. I don't think this has anything to do with Israeli-Palestine. But just another trip down memory lane. Wait, can we get the one where Bill Maher gets shit on? Let's see here. I think he's got one in here. Here's the clip of destroying a right winger. The points out truisms. Yeah, okay. Let's just go ahead and watch this. Yeah, just preemptively fuck Bill Maher, right?
War is rich old men protecting their property by sending middle-class and lower-class young men off to die. It always has been. It's all about owning the thing. All of this back and forth and debate implies that there are really choices in this country, that we really have choices, freedom of choice.
Well, it's an illusion. Army.
Americans are made...
This guy, by the way, is still featured on TV quite a bit. I can't quite remember his name, but I recognize his face. He's all over MSNBC as a so-called expert, right? It's so interesting to see these people from the Bush administration, from that era, paraded around as experts. Yeah, they're experts, and they're experts at fucking it up.
And they're having trouble filling the slots in this all-volunteer army. I wonder why.
Well, raise the pay of the military.
Let me say one thing about choice. There is no real choice. They say freedom of choice. You're given an illusion of choice. Americans are meant to feel free by the exercise of meaningless choices. You don't have, you know what the choices are in this country? Paper or plastic, aisle or window, smoking or non-smoking. Those are your real choices. You don't get to choose anything.
So, George Carlin, by the end of his life, was, I would consider, a nihilist who really did fall into a very negative POV of humanity and all that, maybe because of what he perceived as a lack of progress. And I will say that the older George Carlin gets, the more I disagree with his worldview. Because he does have just an extreme cynicism about everything. With that said, is he wrong about these false choices given to us? No, of course not. There's a lot of false choices given to Americans and quite frankly Israelis, if we want to stay on topic. They're put there to bamboozle us. So it's 100% true. That's totally true. All right, but there you go, YouTube. That's my Palestine update.